Well, college football was a buzz this week. It's not only the return of college football, but we got a look at Chapel Bill, UNC football with their new head coach, Bill Belichick. And how did it turn out? They got stomped. Yeah, and I feel like this was the most obvious outcome that we could have imagined. Like, if you thought about it logically, this is exactly how it would have played out. UNC football not rising back up through the ashes, which I don't know how you rise up when you've never been up in the first place. It's not like UNC football is a powerhouse, but I find the irony in that this game against TCU, the UNC alumni is out in full spirit, right? To see Bill Belichick, arguably the greatest coach of all time, lead their alma mater to what? To getting curb stomped. How did you not see this playing out? Let's just go over some facts real quick. Bill Belichick, without Tom Brady, is 70 and 93 as a head coach. 70 and 93. Do you hear that? Go to the front door and let that sink in. Okay? He's 70 and 93. Before Tom Brady, he walked into a decent situation in New England with a franchise quarterback in Drew Bledsoe. He had one winning season. The wheels started coming off. And then obviously Bledsoe gets injured. Tom Brady walks in and the rest is history, right? And that is when we start hearing about the legend and the aura of Bill Belichick. Before that, Bill Belichick was a lot like his coaching tree. It was arrogant and egotistical coordinators who hadn't won dick all, but who had an aura about them that was they were something, even though they weren't. And I'm talking like the Eric Manginis, the Matt Patricias, that like arrogance of like, well, yeah, I know what I'm doing. I have a pencil. It's behind my ear. I can use it whenever I want. The man genius effect. And obviously, when you look at Bill Belichick's coaching tree, it's not great. I mean, even when you look at Nick Saban, yes, he's arguably the greatest college coach of all time. But his head coaching experience in the NFL left a lot to be desired. So he was that. He was a very arrogant and egotistical coordinator turned head coach who wasn't very good at the job and who was pissing off people left and right. And then he goes to New York and he's the coordinator of the Jets under Bill Parcells. And he's got a provision in his contract that if Bill Parcells isn't the head coach, he would automatically become the head coach. And when that time comes, he walks up to the podium and he says, thanks, no thanks, I'm going up to New England. And it didn't really look like New York was all that upset for a few years there because, as I said, Bill Belichick wasn't this success story. But it wasn't until a sixth-round pick and Tom Brady was forced into duty that all of a sudden it was like, this guy is a genius. Bill Belichick has reinvented the game. And obviously, when Brady leaves, the first thing he does is win a Super Bowl with the Tampa Bay Bucks. Proving that, yeah, it was Brady, it wasn't necessarily Belichick. That Belichick's gruff nature with his players finally wore down on the greatest player he ever had in Tom Brady, who said, you know what, I don't need this shit. I'm leaving. So why did we expect a 73-year-old man who never had a good bedside manner to be able to relate and rally the troops of 20-year-olds? Like, we really expected that. You expected that. I understand in the day and age of NIL, hiring a Bill Belichick is going to get you a lot of money. And I'm talking about from donors. Donors hear the name Bill Belichick, and all of a sudden the checkbooks come out. And for good reason, But we saw it. They've been bamboozled. Because Bill Belichick comes into Chapel Hill to collect a large paycheck. Obviously, nepotism runs rampant in the Belichick household because we have to have Steven come along too. And we saw what happened. And Steven is apparently the heir apparent to the job. Think about that for a second. Like, what has Steven Belichick ever done to warrant a head coaching job or even a coordinator job for that matter, other than be Bill's son? But yet here we are. And UNC fans have been humbled, and they learned a valuable lesson that you don't drink the Kool-Aid. That a 73-year-old man is going to have trouble relating to the players. And that is exactly what we've seen. In the day and age of NIL, I think it's important to remember that I think now more than ever, you need a personable player's coach. because talented players aren't going to put up with Bill Belichick calling them out in team meetings, which apparently is exactly what he did in New England. He would call out Tom Brady constantly for mistakes because Brady was the best player on the team. He thought he could take it, when for years he did, by the way, but it was a message to the team. If Brady can get called out, I can get called out. It's an accountability thing. And I'm not here to tell you that Belichick isn't a good coach. I think he's a good coach. But is he a good head coach? And is he a good head coach for the day and age of college football? The answer by far is no. This was a disaster from the get-go. This was a quick money grab by UNC's athletic director to get donor money pouring into the team, a team that has never really been competitive, never really been great. They've had a few players here and there that have flashed, the Julius Peppers of the world. Obviously, who was the quarterback from Chicago a couple years ago that flamed out that I'm drawing a blank on? You'll comment. Hit thumbs down for that because I don't know ball. But they've obviously had players, but this was a quick cash grab. And it will go down as an epic, epic failure. This is not the first game they will get blown out in. Mark my words. They will get blown out in a lot of games this year. And the rhetoric won't be, did Belichick ever have it? The rhetoric will be, he's lost it. And I would question, did he ever have it? Did he ever have it, or did he luck into finding the best quarterback ever who walked into a situation where he could take Belichick's shit and thrive in that atmosphere and thrive and make everybody around him better? I think it was that. So no, I was not surprised that TCU boat raced the shit out of UNC. I expect it many, many times this season. I just can't believe that UNC, and this is a big story, that this wasn't the obvious. But all right, subscribe, please. I need subscribers. That's all I got. Go Birds. A 41-33, by the way. Go Birds.